Hi, good afternoon. This is Willie Kane. I'm writing from my blog, Go Climb the Mountain, and we're here this afternoon, Saturday, November 11th, at the top of Whiteface Mountain, 4867 feet above sea level. I'm really excited to be here. If you look down over here, you can see Lake Placid in the distance, and the sun is high in the sky and is ready to set. Today, my friend Thomas is going to be interviewing me. Thomas is recording what's going on right now, and the purpose of this is so you, as your audience, get to know me and see me live in action.
Yeah, so what makes us climb these mountains all the time? Why do we do it?
For me, it's really just about fulfilling on what I'm saying I'm gonna do. When I started out hiking seriously, I started hiking the Catskill 3500 peaks back in February 2017, and at that point in my life I really didn't have a sense of direction of what I was doing or that anything could work out for me. And so one day, randomly, I decided to climb Slide Mountain, and it was snowy, it was 60 degrees, it was totally bizarre, and I came out there and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have any hiking poles. I didn't even have waterproof hiking shoes. I was out there in shorts, falling in snow. Every 2 feet. I was falling 2 feet in snow. And eventually I just got to the point where I said, this just isn't fun anymore. Like, I'm going to get frostbite if this continues to happen. And so I decided to turn back. And when I got home, I thought, it'd be a great idea to warm up my hiking shoes in the oven. And so I did that. I put them on 300 degrees for 50 minutes, and by the time I was done with that, the leather had expanded out. The shoes were unwearable again. So that was the end of the beginning part of my hiking journey. But then fast forward 2 months, March 2017, I decided to give it another go. I had learned from my mistake not to bake my hiking shoes in the oven, and on another snowy day, I set out to hike Twin Mountain, and that's where I met you.
Yeah.
And
so that was your second,
that was my first ever Catskill 3500 peak, was Twin Mountain.
Was it Twin? So you didn't make it to the top of Slide that day?
I didn't. No, I had turned back because my health was more important.
Yeah, that's just definitely dangerous.
Yeah, and when I did that, I couldn't have done it without you. Literally.
I didn't know that was your first one.
That was my first.
Because we just did Twin. It was short. I remember that.
It was short, and it was a long hike for me. And that, you were saying that you were seeing stars as you were going up. Man, I was seeing like faceplant. My brain wanted to turn around most of that hike.
And that was in March of this past year?
That was in March. We went up with microspikes and snowshoes and switched back and forth. And we broke the trail, which for my audience means that there's a whole bunch of snow and no one has stepped in it before. So every step you take has a whole lot more weight to it. And
it's harder.
That was really tough, but in that moment I got that I could do really most anything if I just followed through. And for me, that's a huge deal. I mean, at that point I was working part-time in a library. I was going to school part-time for subjects I didn't really like, accounting and computer science. I was teaching Hebrew school, chess, working at a donkey farm as a volunteer, volunteering on an anonymous hotline, and a lot of these things I love, but they just didn't add up, and the hiking was the one thing that did. And so I set out to hike the 3500 peaks. I didn't know I could do it, but I started to check off a list one at a time, and I saw it as a challenge.
Yeah.
And sometimes I hiked with a group, and sometimes I hiked alone. Mostly alone.
Yeah.
And from these experiences, coming out here to the Adirondacks, driving 5 hours this morning, it's just a matter of applying myself to the challenges I face and the goals I want to achieve, and that's what I want to really share with my audience.
What's your next goal then, to climb all these peaks out here?
Well, it's kind of a two-part goal right now. I'm getting a feel for the Adirondacks right now, and I'm pondering how I can make it work. So if anyone has a place out here in the Adirondacks or knows someone who does, who I can stay with for perhaps an extended period of time at some point in the future, I request that you email me that to help me make this possible.
Yeah.
Because driving 5 hours up, and this doesn't happen every weekend.
No.
So while that's getting put in place, I'm starting to hike my Catskill Winter 3500s, which means for my audience that you hike the same 35 again, but all in winter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if there's snow on the ground, though, right?
It doesn't matter if there's snow on the ground.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see. And which peak are we on? We're on Whiteface. And what do you think we're gonna do tomorrow?
Well, I'm thinking right now we could do Giant and Rocky
Right.
on the way out, or if we're feeling especially ambitious, we can do Marcy, Skylight, and Gray.
I think
But
that's the way to go. We have to wake up really early for that, though.
We'll talk about it and
Alright.
figure out what could work.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
All right.
Well, this has been Willie Kane reporting for Go Climb the Mountain.
And before the sun goes down and we're trapped in darkness, we're gonna tune out, right?
Yeah, we're gonna tune out. We specialize in hiking back in the dark. Willie out. Thank you.
All right.